Hey, what's up, everybody? Paramount Cyclops here, and today we're going to talk about pussyhats and feminism revealing its selfish nature. So we're going to just jump right into this. This is from HuffPost here. Thousands are knitting pussy hats for the Women's March on Washington. Pussy hats. Wonder how long it took them to come up with that name. Hundreds of thousands of protesters are expected to flood Washington, D.C. on January 21st, 2017 to take part in the Women's March on Washington, the day after Donald Trump's inauguration. Why the day after? Why not the day of? Wouldn't that make more of a point? Why? That's classic feminism right there, though. Day late and a dollar short. And thanks to a knitting project that has gone viral, thousands of them will be wearing bright pink and cat-eared pussy power hats. Oh, joy! Could you imagine being in that crowd? The Pussy Hat Project, which launched over Thanksgiving, is the brainchild of two friends and recreational knitters, screenwriter Krista Sue and architect Jana Zwellman. Over Thanksgiving. So over Thanksgiving they were knitting pussy hats and thinking about protesting Donald Trump rather than thinking about family and what they're thankful for. That's classic feminism. Feminism, no matter what you give them, will never be thankful. They will always demand more and think and plot on ways to achieve more and more. Free. Give me, give me, give me. That's what they want. Preferential treatment when it suits them. Equal treatment when it suits them. The women were devastated by the election results and looking for ways to channel their grief. With Kat Coyle, the owner of their neighborhood knitting shop, they designed a pussy power hat pattern, an extremely simple hat that knitters, crocheters, and sewers of all levels can whip up for themselves or for other marchers. Oh, how considerate. Here, would you like to wear my pussy hat? This accessibility is an essential component of the project, the women say. No, it's not. This accessibility is an essential component to you making more money. That's what it's about. Feminism is no different than any other organization. When it comes down to it, follow the money. Because in the end, that's what it all boils down to. Where the money is, that's where your answer is. It's not just about making a strong visual statement on the day of the march, or offering up a symbolic rebuke of Trump's infamous "grab them by the pussy" comments. Yes, while we're on that "grab them by the pussy" comment, if you will remember, people, it was consensual. He said they let you. When you're rich, when you're famous, they let you grab them by the pussy. They let you. So here these feminists are trying to say that women are so infantile that they don't even have a choice of who they let to grab their pussy. Donald Trump literally said, they let you grab them by the pussy. That is consent. So now feminists are saying that the female is too weak to give her own consent, that only feminism as a whole must join together in some grand trial every time a woman has consensual sex or a consensual hookup of some sort, and decide for them if that woman gave consent, and if that consent is legal. It's up to the feminists to decide this. Trump said they let you grab them by the pussy. That's consent. And I don't like Trump, so screw you for making me defend him. Continuing. Grab them by the pussy comment, though that's definitely a factor. It's also about giving people who aren't able to march for physical, financial, or other logistical barriers a concrete way to take part. No, Let's be honest here, lady. This is a way for other individuals who are either physically, financially, or logistically incapable of paying more money for your hats and having other people buy multiple hats, thereby spending more money, getting you more fame. That's what everything boils down to. Continuing. Everyone can participate, said Zwellman, who isn't attending the march because she is recovering from an injury that prevents her from being in large crowds. What? What injury is there that prevents you from being in large crowds? Now, I've heard of diseases and communicable diseases that doctors tell you to stay home, or they quarantine you in the hospital. But she's not in the hospital, so I assume she's not infected with some dangerous disease. And my lord, if she is, I think we need to know. Just that way we can avoid her at all costs. A disease that's an injury that prevents from being in large crowds. I don't understand. What injury prevents you from being in large crowds? A body cast? And then, isn't this kind of breaking what you just said in the paragraph above? You just said it is also about giving people who aren't able to march for physical, financial, or logistic barriers. You have a physical barrier, and yet you're not marching. You're not even following your own script there. What? Typical. We are hearing from people who are saying, I just sprained my ankle and I'm sitting here watching Netflix, and it's the best thing ever. Yeah, okay, I'll agree. Netflix is pretty cool. The co-founders have heard from women who tell them that knitting the pattern, or any pink hat of their choosing, has been a productive way of managing their election-related anger and grief. Yes, because we live in a society when if something that you think is wrong happens, we go and do arts and crafts. If they truly thought that something was wrong, that this was an evil that needed to be corrected, they wouldn't be knitting hats. Back in the day, way back in the day, there used to be something that people would do, and that was act. I mean, the American Revolution was nothing but people who were upset with the status quo, and they acted upon that. They didn't knit. Could you imagine if feminism was as everywhere today? If back in the 1776 ages, I mean, could you imagine if our forefathers, our founding fathers, knitted? I'm pissed off at tyranny. Hand me more yarn. Let's look at some pictures here. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, wow, okay. Well, don't they just all look really happy? They're pissed off at the election. I mean, they're like little cats. My cat looks at me and he's angry, and what do? Take a ball of yarn, throw it across the room. Bam, he's in heaven, and he's happy, and he's like a happy cat. And these ladies look happy. They were pissed off, threw them some yarn, and now they're happy. All right. With just a few weeks to go, Sue and Zwellman don't have an exact sense of how many pink cat-eared hats will be at the march. Partly it's because they're encouraging people to give hats to marchers directly if possible, although they can also be dropped off at participating knit shops across the country that will get them to the march, or shipped directly to the Pussycat Project. It never ends. But it is also because the founders say they are more concerned with creating community than in reaching any specific distribution goals. If they had to guess, however, they think anywhere between 30,000 to 100,000 hats have already been knit, as more than 60,000 people have clicked on the patterns section of their website. There's a man who made 100, Zwellman said. We launched a hat registry, which is new, but we're seeing the average amount of hats is about 7 to 8 7 to 8 per person. That's just ridiculous. And what are you going to accomplish from this march? What is the end goal? What do you think it's going to change? Look, if Donald Trump truly is a bad president, which he may very well be, I didn't like Trump or Clinton. We had a choice between a crook and a joker. But what is the march going to accomplish? What is it going to do? Do you think it's going to change anything? If Trump is truly a bad president, then he's going to prove it within his first 100 days or so. The first 100 days are key decisions, and they pave the way for the way that that current administration is going to go. So, if Trump is going to destroy anybody, Trump is going to destroy Trump. Your march is not going to accomplish anything other than another, I'm a feminist, I'm a victim, I'm angry, look at me, do nothing. I'm not going to change the world, but I'm sure going to bitch and whine and moan and groan about it. Continuing. Sue and Zwellman believe the project has struck a nerve because knitting is at once meditative and communal, giving women and men time to, say, reflect on what's at stake for women's health under a Trump-Pence administration, and to connect with others in yarn shops and in classes. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I could not possibly have described feminism in a better manner. Time for men and women to reflect on what's at stake for women's health. Women's health, not men's health, just women's health. Women's health is the only thing we should ever focus on. Women's health gets the majority, the vast majority of medical spending. More money is spent on women's health than men's health. Men's health is only a fraction of the spending on women's health. The donations for breast cancer, it's like David and Goliath when it comes to prostate cancer. Women already live 7 years longer than men, yet all we focus on is women's health. Men's health? Who cares about men's health? Nobody. Why should we care about men's health? I mean, shoot, we're only half the population. And shrinking, by the way. Absolutely ludicrous ideology. It doesn't make sense. If you reverse the roles and it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense in the first place. And also, by the same brushstroke you paint one thing, you must also paint another. Continuing. For me, a lot of the magic lies in saying, hey, women of the country, you might not think you're politically active, but you're already community organizing in your knitting groups and women's groups. You just don't call it that, Sue said. The Pussyhat Project calls it that, which is where a lot of the power comes from. We hope, she added, these hats will become a symbol long after the march. Yes, of course you would, because if they become a symbol long after the march, you'll be able to monopolize on that symbol long after the march. You don't care about change. I love that phrase. Reflect on what's at stake for women's health. Remember that. Remember that phrase. That epitomizes feminism in a nutshell. And incidentally, if you went to the Southern Poverty Law Center and looked up their criteria for a group being labeled a hate group, feminism fits very well. Just a little side note. Let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts. Give me your comments. Like, subscribe. I will keep posting. You guys have a good day.